right, you have survived. Congratulations, it's been an intense 2 days, especially for our DARPA risers who got up really bright and early yesterday. So, I imagine it's been a different experience for each one of you, depending on what you brought and what you expected to take away from DARPA Forward. But here are a few things that I hope that you'll all take away. The first is that the fact that the world around us really has changed dramatically. The pace of change itself has increased, and our nation faces new and substantive threats. Second, the potential solution space is rich with science and technology opportunities, especially at the intersections. The intersections of specialties, the intersections of communities, and the intersections of different perspectives. Because of this, we've encouraged you to push beyond your core expertise and outside your comfort zones. It's critical to how we work, and we think it's critical to solving most hard problems. So the disruptive innovation that DARPA delivers needs an entire ecosystem, with all of that natural messiness and redundancy and competing solutions and gradual evolution forward. But within that ecosystem, someone has to be bold enough to be willing to fail. So for all of you who came here who are new to DARPA, if that role of being bold enough to fail appeals to you, then consider spending some time working with us, or at least on national security problems. Our servicemen and women live lives of incredible self-sacrifice. Helping to keep them safer is just one way to repay that sacrifice and to serve the nation and the rest of society. So respond to a DARPA Broad Agency announcement. Remember, that's one of the ways we have of announcing those 50-ish new programs that we launch each year. Or talk to a DARPA program manager and share your ideas for what you think the next DARPA program should be doing. Or think about becoming a program manager yourself. Or maybe one of our CETA contractors, or a partner in one of the Department of Defense's many labs and engineering centers. Talk to us. I think you've heard this message over and over again the last day and a half. Talk to us, talk to us, talk to us, exchange ideas. And as I said, these are just a few of the things that I hope you'll take away from today's conference. One more thing, which I imagine you've been waiting for. I promised that we would share with you a new DARPA effort to close out our time together this week. So if you can remember all the way back to yesterday, I talked about DARPA's first grand challenge with its spectacular events, cars rolling over and all kinds of things, but which ultimately led to the big self-driving car revolution. Today, we're announcing our next grand challenge. So, to help me in that, Commander J.P. Chrétien, a program manager in our Biological Technologies office, will be joining me to explain this effort and how you can become a part of it. J.P.?
Thank you, Dr. Tompkins. So this new effort is deeply important to me as a medical officer. Like previous DARPA challenges, this one aims to spur outside-of-the-box thinking and get a wide variety of problem solvers across many disciplines. It's called the DARPA Triage Challenge, and I'm going to briefly introduce it and explain how you can get involved. So when disaster strikes, minutes make the difference between life and death. Whether it's an earthquake or a military operation or an attack on civilians, some victims will have injuries that immediately threaten their life and that can be treated on the spot. But what if there are many casualties and not enough responders to quickly determine who urgently needs those interventions? Moments count, but the usual hands-on medical assessment doesn't scale to the mass casualty scenario. The other problem with the usual hands-on assessment is the risk to responders. Combat medics have become casualties while exposing themselves to assess others who may actually not have been urgent, but they couldn't determine that from a distance. A central problem in this initial stage of triage is that we don't know how to scale the medic's hands-on assessment. So this is a key problem in primary triage. There's another equally important triage problem. Fast forward an hour or so, medics have completed primary triage, and now we move to secondary triage, which is a deeper assessment, a continuing assessment to catch injuries we missed initially and changes in patient status. And the main problem here is that we don't know how to anticipate medical needs for a patient who appears stable. Standard vital signs don't help much. They barely budge after loss of more than a liter of blood in this controlled bleeding study. And that's because the body can temporarily compensate until all of a sudden it can't anymore. And then it may be too late. So here's a real-life military example of how this plays out. We have many casualties. Who gets on the bird first? Only some will be able to get to surgery quickly, and the others are going to have to wait in the field, potentially for hours. And the medic has essentially no tools to predict those clinical trajectories to help them make the right call. We believe the core technologies exist to solve these problems and revolutionize medical triage, and that's why we're initiating the DARPA Triage Challenge. It's a 3-year effort. It'll bring together diverse communities to create new tools for scalable and predictive triage in both military and civilian settings. The foundations of the challenge are non-invasive sensors to interrogate physiology, algorithms to identify injury signatures in the sensor data, and communities, emergency responders, technology developers, you in this room and online, to ensure we deliver operationally relevant technologies. So here's the ultimate vision that inspires us. In primary triage, autonomous platforms with standoff sensors capture physiological data. Algorithms process those data to help medics determine which casualties need immediate hands-on attention. And then in secondary triage, medics use non-invasive sensors to continuously capture physiological data. Algorithms process those data to help them anticipate medical needs. So the challenge has 2 domains. For primary triage, we will create simulations of mass casualty scenes, and competitors will bring their autonomous sensor delivery platforms and their sensors and their algorithms, and we will score them on the speed and accuracy of autonomous casualty assessment. And then in secondary triage, we'll provide de-identified clinical trauma data from DARPA's RITMO program, which we announced a few months ago. Competitors will bring their algorithms, and we'll score them on prediction of life-saving interventions and outcomes. And both competitions will become increasingly complex over the 3 years. We'll have prizes for top-performing teams with a total pool of more than $7 million. So, to find out more information, please visit the challenge website, triagechallenge.darpa.mil. We'll have an Information Day webinar on November 29, but advanced registration is required, so please register as soon as you can. Don't let it wait. DARPA will fund competitors, but the challenge also is open to self-funded teams. So DARPA-funded teams will come in through a broad agency announcement, and that will be posted shortly. For DARPA-funded teams, proposals are due in February, and we will kick off the challenge next fall. Thank you.
Thanks, JP. So I can't see all you that well because of the stage lights, but I imagine at least half of you are already ticking in the website on your phone and registering for Proposers Day. So these events are incredible. Not only do they tend to move technology forward in ways that we can never imagine, but they also give us a chance to really bring all of you into DARPA for the period of those challenge times. And we're looking forward to spending more and more time with all of you in that medical triage challenge. So, all right, wrapping up. As you've heard the past several days, or the past couple of days, from our perspective at DARPA, the technological future is both bright with opportunity and fraught with the potential for technological surprise from our adversaries. But I have to say, I'm newly energized by our conversations that we've had, the promise of new infusions of talent into our innovation ecosystem, and a renewed sense of purpose from our current partners. I'm confident that decades from now, people will look back on the conversations we had during DARPA Forward, and they will recognize the germination of ideas that led to a better future. So, first, let me thank all of you for being part of it with us. So a round of applause for all of you, for yourselves. The hallway conversations and the energy, all of that were just incredible. So thank you for bringing yourselves here, and for all the folks in the virtual audience. I know the experience is different, but thank you for your attention, all of the great questions that you brought in, and sort of the attention you brought and adding that extra dimension to the entire event. All right, I have a few other thank yous. As you can imagine, all of the folks who came onto stage, whether they were panelists or speakers or demonstrators, did a lot of work to prepare. Let's have a round of applause for all of them. All right. I want to reiterate my thanks to Texas A&M for being such incredible hosts and partners, not just providing the incredible venue, but all of the work they did in planning, in almost the entire year of planning that's gone into making this event possible. So thanks to our hosts. All right, and then one last one. You know, we've talked to you a lot about DARPA and about the technologists and all the things that we do. One of the things we didn't talk about so much, but I think we managed to show you, is the unbelievable support staff that we have that are just integrated in the fabric of DARPA. So they are all outside, and you have seen them, the ones in the blue shirts. There's an army back behind the scenes. Everybody, like I said, had been working on this for well over a year, and they do what they do and just make it so the rest of us can show up and have a magical event. So for our planning and our support team and all of the folks behind the screen back here, I'm going to have a huge round of applause. Okay. Okay, so with that, thank you once again for coming to DARPA Forward. Be safe, and have a wonderful evening.